This is the third gear. Fourth, not only better sound insulation because this is a more expensive product, but I feel the engine mounts are doing a good job here. The Fortuner and the Hilux did not shift to the TNGA F platform, which it was rumored to be. Why would Toyota give this product and make this available in Pakistan? Toyota also launched this in Sri Lanka and ignore India completely. Irrespective of what you do in Pakistan or Sri Lanka and not make it available in India, Toyota India, what are you doing? Hasn't India been good to you when it comes to sales? For it to do well, it has to be positioned somewhere. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So right now I am in Japan and behind me is the Toyota Auto Museum and beside me is the Toyota Land Cruiser 250, which we all know as the Prado. So in this video we are going to discuss a lot of things. First we are going to discuss the technical aspects of the Land Cruiser 250, the Prado, like the performance, the engine options, the platforms. We are also going to discuss that why this has still not been launched in India and how soon we can expect the Prado, the LC250, to be launched in India. And for it to be successful, what is the price point it needs to be launched so that it achieves the sales numbers what it is already achieving in the global automotive scene. So stay tuned for this one. This is the first time the Land Cruiser 300 and the Land Cruiser Prado are sharing the platform, because previously the LC200 was based on the F1 platform and the Prado was based on the Toyota's F2 platform. So in this generation the 250 and the 300 are based on the TNGA F platform. So let's get right into it. The engine. This is the 2.8 liter diesel, which we are all aware of, and it is common to the Hilux and the Fortuner and also the Land Cruiser 70, 76 and all of that. But in India, it is a very common engine. In fact, the Innova also had an iteration of the 2.8 liter in the Crista, which is now discontinued. But we will not get into that because this is the 2.8 liter engine which has been updated with a mild hybrid system, which we have seen currently in the Neo Drive Fortuner. This is the third gear. Fourth. Okay, traffic. So the demonstration out here is, let me just drop a gear. Let me be in the third gear, 3000 plus RPM. One thing absolutely well done in this case is the sound insulation and the vibrations inside the cabin are very minimal compared to what you would expect from this 2.8 liter engine, which I personally feel in my Toyota Fortuner. Not only better sound insulation because this is a more expensive product, but I feel the engine mounts are doing a good job here. So yeah, I have been demonstrating this to you because engine is still loud. This is still sounding gruffy, and it's definitely a big letdown when it comes to the Land Cruiser nameplate having a 4-cylinder diesel in the form of an engine which is common to a Hilux and the Toyota Fortuner. So I personally feel that this deserved a proper 6-cylinder, and I just don't know why the 6-cylinder diesel is not being offered. In fact, I know why, because this is going to be definitely cannibalizing the LC300 if Toyota offers the 6-cylinder diesel engine of the LC300 into the LC250. So definitely that is one reason for sure. But yes, it does have a 6-cylinder engine in the form of the Lexus GX, which is again a petrol, not a diesel. And this is a heavy car. So I personally feel that my manual Toyota Fortuner with only 420 Newton meters, I can probably be faster than this LC250 Prado. So speaking of gearboxes, manual, well, it's a big miss. No manual in the LC250 at all. In fact, a manual would have really been an engaging alternative to the LC300, and people would have not mind driving a 4-cylinder diesel if a manual would have been given with the LC250. But coming to the gearbox, this is an 8-speed unit, so this is not in common with the Hilux nor the Fortuner. So this gearbox does a phenomenal job. I personally love the way it shifts the gears. It is very smooth. It is definitely on the sportier side, which the engine is not. So the gearbox has a lot of work to do, and these 8 ratios are keeping, in fact, making the engine feel alive and giving a good amount of, with a decent amount of throttle inputs, it's adjusting the gears and making sure that you are in the right power band, so that you really don't miss those 2 cylinders which Toyota chose not to give you for the LC250. So I wanted to discuss the suspension, ride quality and the handling dynamics of the LC250, the Prado. Let me start off by saying this is a full-time 4-wheel drive, and this is a big difference when you compare it to the IMV platform, Hilux and the Fortuner, which are rear-wheel drive and switchable 4-wheel drives. And the TNGA-F products are full-time 4-wheel drives. So this is a big difference, and I personally feel it's a make or break for a lot of people. It is very interesting that the LC250 feels slightly better to drive when it comes to the handling, and it feels much more engaging compared to the LC300, because interestingly the LC250 and the 300 are having the same wheelbase. It's identical in width and other dimensions. I think the height wise the LC300 is slightly taller because of the roof rails. Other than that, everything is the same, but the LC250 manages to handle better. Maybe it is something related to the engine up front being slightly lighter with the 4-cylinder, so that is the only advantage of the 4-cylinder. But yeah, so this was about the handling part of it. Yeah, so one more thing. So this is now an electronic power steering unit. So this is something which, again, this is a big change, because in the Fortuner and the Hilux also we are expected in the Fortuner to get an EPS like we did in the new generation Hilux, which has got revealed a few months back. So coming back to the Prado, the ride quality right now, I am running on an 18-inch setup, and these are Dunlops. I believe the LC250 Prado comes with an option of 20-inch rims also. But yes, it does feel very good for a body-on-frame chassis. I don't think this variant has adaptive dampers. Japanese roads are fantastic, so this is not the best way to test the ride quality, but I feel that this is surely better than the IMV products, which are more designed for utilitarian longevity, as well as you can say cheaper construction cost compared to the TNGA-F. So this is again maybe one of the reasons the Fortuner did not shift. The Fortuner and the Hilux did not shift to the TNGA-F platform, which it was rumored to be for a long time. So I personally think that the Land Cruiser 250 is doing very well globally, and Toyota has launched it in major markets where it is doing very well. So one of the reasons could be supply constraints. So that is one reason giving Toyota a benefit of doubt. But then that makes me think, why would Toyota give this product and make this available in Pakistan? Why would Toyota also launch this in Sri Lanka and ignore India completely? Irrespective of what you do in Pakistan or Sri Lanka, and not make it available in India. Toyota India, what are you doing? Hasn't India been good to you when it comes to sales? I don't know why you're ignoring this entire product, which has been always a part of your product lineup, which it got discontinued maybe 5-6 years back before the new generation Prado came in, the 250. So I just cannot understand that why the Indian market has been ignored by Toyota. So no benefit of doubt for Toyota here. So let's think of the other reason. Maybe Toyota wants to locally assemble the LC250 Prado. So this is something which I personally think can be one of the reasons that Toyota has delayed the launch. Now this answer has been linked to the second question, the pricing, because I personally think that Toyota cannot launch this at anywhere in the range of 1.5, 1.6 crores. 1.2 also is very high price for this Land Cruiser 250 Prado. For it to do well, it has to be positioned somewhere maybe around under 1 crore rupees. I say this because Toyota has globally positioned this opposite the Ford Everest. Interesting, because Everest has always been a Fortuner competitor, but the Everest has been so good that it is now competing with the Prado. Just look at the Australian market. Australian market is so mature. You will have an understanding that what is happening in India. The journalists in India have no idea about what they talk about. They don't ask the questions also to Toyota India. That is the reason we are in this place. So as the Everest is not available in India, let's understand that how Toyota India would position the Prado. So I personally feel that the positioning of the Prado is supposed to be around the Defender price, and currently Defender is doing very, very well. So Toyota India would probably price the LC250 around the Defender pricing, which will make the LC250 price around 1.2 crores, 1.3 crores on road. And I think this is an oversell. I don't think that this product is so much value at this price of around 1.2, 1.3 crores. Maybe if it would have had a 6-cylinder diesel engine, yes, but not with this 2.8 liter which is available in the Hilux, which is going to be available in the Fortuner, the next generation. So again, we need to not forget the fact that the Defender is right now an import, and it might be assembled in India like the other Range Rover products are being, or under the India EU FTA, it is going to have a decent amount of price drop. So the Defender might be available for on-road 80 lakhs, maybe on-road 90 lakhs. So that time Land Cruiser 250 Prado for 1.2, 1.3 crores, no one's going to buy it. Initially there are going to be some people who will anyway rush to the Toyota showroom, but after that it's going to be a difficult sell. And now this again links to the delay of the LC250 Prado in India. So Toyota India probably knows this, and they want to probably assemble the TNGA-F products in India. And if they do so, the LC250, the original Prado, may be available at an assembled CKD form, in a CKD form, and Toyota India may be able to price it maybe around 80 to 90 lakh rupees, positioned above the Toyota Fortuner. And if the LC250 is assembled in India, you can expect the LC300, which is also a TNGAF product, to be assembled in India also. This was just an initial impression video of the Land Cruiser 250 and my thoughts on the India launch and the price predictions. So let's just hope that we get this car in India very soon. And until then, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.